Hello, try to solve this example from your exercises. Two forces act on a bracket as shown in this figure. Find F and theta so that their resultants may be a horizontal force of 400 newtons. So we try to solve this question, and first of all we need just to sketch a diagram to convert this to triangular, and will help us to solve this question. So first of all, if I start with taking the horizontal line, from this horizontal line just make it a disconnected line. What we have about 150 newtons in that direction, which represent the 30 degrees. So write the value for this one, 150, and make sure to type the units, and in this way you know what's the value for this. As well, you need to state the angle, because it's very important to show that this angle is 30 degrees. So 30, and then make sure to put it there, and then I'll locate it in the right direction. Now from that force, what we're trying to say, there is another force is moving downwards in that direction, and it's going somewhere which will intersect with the horizontal force coming from the beginning till here, which has a value, if we put this with a different color, has a value of 400 newtons as is given to us, and because it's stated is going in that direction. Therefore, I will place this one here, which it's 400 newtons, and now I need to close the triangular, which we need to transfer this force with the angle theta. So that will be moving, if you look carefully, from this point to that point, and that will represent for me the angle theta we try to determine. So I will use theta and then place it in that direction. So from mathematics, you need to be aware of how you transfer these from the free sketch which we got here to triangular, so we can solve it using the sine and cosine rules. Now again, if you go to your lecture notes, definitely you would be focusing on understanding the sine rule which we were working on here, and as well we'll introduce the cosine rule which we'll be working here. So the sine rule is to determine one value, either could be the angle or the dimension or the force, and the cosine rule will be helping us to determine the force, or others as well could be the angle. So we try to introduce each one of them the first. So first thing, we can start solving it by using the cosine rule, then we see how can we solve this question. So we go back, insert, cosine rule. So for this one we'll be using the equation. In this case what we have the f we want to determine, so that will be very easy for us to write down the equation. Just let me put the pointer in the right direction. So f to the power 2 equals 2. What do you have? You have the 150 to the power 2, which is 150 square newtons. Everything is in newtons. Make sure that your units are all the same. And plus 400 newtons, but that will be squared. And then minus 2 times 150 times 400 times, which angle we'll be using in this case? We'll be using the angle of 30 degrees. So cosine and 30 degrees. After simplification for this, you can simply determine the value of the the force F. Remember this F to the power 2, so when you solve this part of the equation, you need to take the root square so you can determine the value of the force. So F, after using your calculator, will be equal to 280.316 newtons. Perfect. So that's the solution for the first part. If you have any concern on how to solve this equation, you can see me in the class and I can go through it and explain to you in more detail. Now, that's the benefit of using cosine rule, which helps me first to determine the force. Now, from mathematics, we have the other rule which will help me to determine the angle, theta, so sine rule. So please make sure to go through your notes and then you can understand what we're trying to do. So I'll try new box, new line. So I will say we're using here now the sine rule, and that will be the angle theta. Opposite to theta we have the 150 newtons, and the other one is the force we determine. Opposite to that's the 30. Now you may ask why we don't use the 400, because technically I don't know this angle. So when you use these rules, you make sure that how much information you have, you can apply them using the equations. So I use the equation editor again, equations. So what we're starting with, the first thing is to use sine theta divided by what's opposite to sine theta is the 150 newtons equals, so I will enlarge the box so you can see it, and another. So now sine 30 degrees, because I have more information about that than the other side, divided by opposite to the sine 30 is the F value which we just determined earlier, is equal to 280.316. everything is in newtons. So this will help me to, using the cross methods and putting the subjects on one side and the known values on the other side, and make sure you set up your calculators in 2 degrees so you can get the right answer. This will end up for you determine the value of theta. Theta will be equal to 15.52 degrees. And if you have some concerns about how to simplify this equation to get the answer for theta, you can see me in class and we can work it together and we find you how to do it. So this is the answer for what we were trying to determine earlier. So to sum up, we needed to find the F value and theta value for this question. Now possibly another student says, hey, why you started in this direction, not in the opposite direction? Because I will start with how much information were given to me in this question. So because I know this is the horizontal line, and this is the, from the horizontal line I'll go up with the 30 degrees with the value of force 150. So that's how I started. This is my horizontal line. I went up with 30 degrees, 115 newtons, and then I went down with this F, but I don't know the angle, so that's why I put theta. And remember, theta could be represented in that direction. So if we just add a line here in this direction, make it as disconnected line so you don't confuse yourself, this theta will be in between both of them. So I will put theta in that side. So that's also is theta. By replacement, this theta will representing that. If this is also this horizontal line represented this horizontal line, so that how I'm moving from it. And also because there is another information given to me that the resultant force is equal to 400 newtons going in that direction, therefore will help me to determine the value for the resultant force. Now I know force opposite to that theta angle is unknown, 30 degrees opposite to that is F, and 400 newtons. Using the cosine rule, and we determine the value of F, and then using sine rule we determine the value of theta. And this is the answer for this question. I hope you enjoy it, and you will see me again with another videos. Thanks for watching. See ya.